Hi everyone, welcome to EH102 Library Instruction, Generating Search Terms. Talking to the library databases is different from talking to Google. When you use Google or other internet search engines, you can use natural language, the same way you talk to your friends. When you're talking to the library databases, however, you have to use the language of search terms. Remember that video about tattoos and how to find keywords? I'm going to give you another example of how to generate keywords and search terms using a topic sentence. Let's say I want to write my paper about SeaWorld. You know, the giant aquarium amusement park. This is a good place to start, but it is too broad. Think of all the things I could write about SeaWorld. Am I interested in tourism? How they attract people to visit the park? Am I interested in education? Maybe how they're teaching people about taking care of the ocean? Or maybe I recently saw the documentary Blackfish, and I'm concerned about how SeaWorld treats their killer whales. You can use the questions who, what, where, when, how, and why to help you figure out exactly what you want to write about. If you need more help doing this, you can go back to the video From the Drawing Board to the Search Box located in Section 3. Once I've narrowed down my topic, I can write it as a complete sentence or ask it as a question. So I'm going to ask, what are the problems with the treatment of killer whales at SeaWorld? Now I need to identify the key words. Remember, keywords are the words or phrases that are essential to discussing your topic. You can ignore all the other words. So I'm going to circle killer whales, SeaWorld, and treatment. You might think about circling the word problems, but this is actually a word that doesn't add much to your search. There are other words like this, such as effects, advantages, disadvantages, or other words that could apply to pretty much any topic. Remember, focus only on the words that are necessary to discussing your topic. Now that I have my keywords, I can generate search terms. I'm going to use a grid like the one on your worksheet. If you need to add more boxes to your grid, you can. I'm going to use one row for each of my main ideas. First, put your keywords in the first column. Make sure to make the word singular and try to use nouns when possible. Next, I'm going to generate more search terms. There are 3 ways to do this. First, you should look for synonyms. Those are words that mean more or less the same thing as the original keyword. You should also look for broader or more general terms. And finally, try to identify narrower or more specific terms. For example, another word for killer whale is orca, so I'm going to put this in the synonym column. If I want to go broader or more general than killer whale, I might use aquatic mammal or dolphin, since killer whales belong to the dolphin family. I can also try to think of more specific terms. Killer whale is already pretty specific, but I could try searching for an individual whale, like Tilikum, for instance, who is the feature of the documentary Blackfish. Next, I'll try to think of other words for treatment. Care is a synonym for treatment, so I'll put that in the second column. For broader terms, I'm going to put the general category of animal welfare. For narrower terms, I can be more specific and think of what aspect of care I want to research. In this case, I'm interested in animal cruelty. Finally, I'll do the same thing for SeaWorld. It's a specific location, so it doesn't really have any synonyms. But I can go broader. SeaWorld is an aquarium, so I'll put the word aquarium as a related term. It's also a tourist attraction, so I'll add tourism. If I'm interested in killer whales being kept in an aquarium, then I'm interested in animals in captivity, so I'll add the word captivity too. SeaWorld's already pretty specific, so I'm not going to worry about identifying more specific terms right now. Now that I'm done with my grid, I have created a word bank for doing my searches. That way, if one of my searches doesn't work, I have options that I can try until I find the information I need. If you have trouble thinking of search terms, you can visit Wikipedia or another encyclopedia to learn a little bit more about your topic and see what kind of vocabulary people use when writing and talking about this topic. You can also use the thesaurus to look up synonyms. This might seem like a lot of work, but it's very important. Generating search terms means that you have the right language to speak to the library databases. Now you'll fill out a grid for your own topic using the worksheet under the Practice 2 tab. Complete this worksheet and then move on to the OneSearch demo, where you'll learn how to use your search terms to find information. Remember, if you have any trouble, call, email, or visit your friendly librarians at the Marks Library.